Okay, so I tried to make one of these videos earlier today, and I ended up messing it up. So we're gonna try again. It looked like a mess in my first video, and it kind of looked like a mess in this video. But these aren't really pretty videos, they're diary logs, which is kind of just to let you know what's going on and keep track of things and cue you in on what I'm doing and what my progress is as I work through this program. So I'm getting a little nervous because I'm getting further along in this project, and I've been checking the school's website, and they have some stuff up on the competition, but they don't have a due date up there. I'm sitting here like, where's your due date? I want to know for sure. Like last time I was due mid-April, and we did my filming in late March. I'm pretty excited that I do have my friend Ryan once again on board, and Ryan is going to be filming this again this year. He filmed Beauty and the Beast with me last year, and he did an absolutely fantastic job. I highly recommend him. He's got such vision and such patience. Like, we went through all of the film for my stuff. I sent him like a bunch of just raw, unorganized footage. I'm like, I need to make it go in 3 minutes, and this is kind of what I need. And like 3 different times he put together something for me. I was like, yeah, that's good, but... And then he'd go back and help me. Just amazing. Just, he's freaking fantastic. And he did all of my editing work and all of my film work, and you know, as I'm sitting there going, oh, I need this for this and this for this and this for this, he managed to go back and make it all happen. And because I'm really bad with computers, so having somebody to do that. So one of the things I kind of wanted to talk about today, speaking of teams and teamwork, is I do have an amazing team. I've picked out an actress. I've got a couple of local actors and actresses that will be playing small supporting roles just to kind of flesh out my background and the idea of my character, as well as my lead actress who I introduced you to last week, Amberly. But all in all, I am doing this on my own. Yes, I have a great team, but it's my job to put together my team, and it's my job to make all my prosthetics, and I don't have formal training. I didn't go to school. I don't... Ooh, that's crazy eyes. I don't have access to a big Hollywood studio, and I do not have a large budget. So I think one of the things that, if anybody chooses to go over this and look at what I do, one of the things they may appreciate is the fact that I'm trying to make something out of nothing. Super low budget, cutting lots of corners, working with what I have, making up what I don't, and making this... Jake! Don't. Sorry, dog problems. Just creating a whole world with... You know, I don't have a big budget, and I don't have a set designer, and I don't have some of those things. So, speaking of set, I'd like to talk about the set a little bit. I'm going to a park that's in the area called Ledge Park, which has these beautiful rock formations. Now, this is really overambitious, and I hate to put this online because then you're going to all expect it of me. But in said huge, awesome park, there is this area that's all surrounded by rock. And then there's a tree right in the center, and all these little paths that lead into this tree. And the tree is rotting away. It's dying. It has been for years. But it reminds me so closely of the statue that's in the center of the round room in Pan's Labyrinth, that depicts the faun with Ophelia and her baby brother as I interpret it. I guess they never really formally said that's what it was, but watch the film. Like, if you're watching this and you haven't watched the film, go watch the film, or I feel like you're wasting your time. So, I kind of want to make a wrap to go around that tree to look like that statue. But I already have a little Ophelia dress to sew, which is going to be time consuming and needs to be done in a month. I have the entire fawn costume to make, which is even more time consuming. It needs to be done in 2 months. And I have a small fairy I'm working on. I've got a full face prosthetic to do. We'll see about all that. I'm just not quite sure that that's something that I can fit in, but in my vision that would be beautiful. So this year has presented some challenges versus last year because the fawn is an outdoor creature. I cannot imagine the fawn being inside in any sort of fashion. I can't imagine his character being filmed inside. So we're working outdoors in Wisconsin in March, which, if you're not familiar with outside in March in Wisconsin, the weather is unpredictable and terrible and usually very cold. Last year while we were filming Beauty and the Beast, I remember leaving the hotel for a short period of time and walking to lunch, and it was terrible. Like, my face froze. So I purposely made my shoes a little bit bigger so that my fawn can fit wool socks in, and I'm trying to plan everything that we can have parked vehicles with heat on very close to the area in which we're filming, and potentially be filming in difficult locations. I may bring some things along to try and add that fantasy aspect to it. The possibility of gel lighting to create that blue or gold cast like was used in the film might be nice. Being able to bounce that off of smoke or smoke bombs could be a really good idea. These are all things I'm toying with now. I don't have, like I said, that indoor facility like last year. In case you didn't watch last year's video, I got to film Beauty and the Beast indoors inside of the Milwaukee Athletic Club, who was nice enough to donate me their space within their grand ballroom to film for 2 hours. So we were on a little bit of a time crunch, but I think we did very well with what we had. I got photos and video to be able to use for my final project. That was an interesting experience in itself. I basically went to from hotel to hotel, pretending like I had money to rent a space if they didn't offer tours. Milwaukee Athletic Club, I just kind of wandered in, poked around. No one stopped me. And then I discovered the grand ballroom and very kindly inquired about it, and got a hotel room there and said, if I have this hotel room, I'm working on a project to get a scholarship for school. I'd really like if you could donate this space to me for 2 hours. And they were so wonderful and so accommodating and so nice. And if you ever happen to be in Milwaukee and need a place to stay, I highly recommend staying at the Milwaukee Athletic Club. So yeah, no hotels this year. It's all going to be outside, so that's going to be challenging in itself. Let's talk about progress on the costume this week. I think last time I showed you the fairy who I've been sitting here like bending and contorting out of the screen because I'm a fiddler and I fiddle with things. So she got another layer of, ooh, that light is like just a little too much. She got another layer of purple on her, but she also got a layer of bronze. Once I put the bronze on, this like weird panty texture that's built into the doll picked up, so I might actually have to sand off her bottom and go back through that. You can see it on her back and stuff too. This light is like really harsh, but she's starting to come along nicely. I might do another layer of brushed bronze or gold, especially on her front section, which I feel like is still looking pretty solid purple. And then I'll start going in and doing accents around joints and curves, and definitely going into her face and starting to do some of that. And I kind of want to make eyes that will go on top of her eyes that will be a little bit more bug-eyed. There is this texture on the top that I'm not super enjoying, but I've tried to sand some of that off and got most of it off, but not all of it. She's not a focal piece though, and as much as I'd like to be a perfectionist, I can't be a perfectionist on the little things. I need to save my perfectionist. Ooh, her head's getting funny. My perfectionist tendencies for the fawn. I picked up glasses this week to be able to do the eyes. They're mirrored sunglasses. I tried to paint over them with a opalescent nail polish, and that blew up in my face. I painted them and then immediately removed the paint because when I put the glasses on, I could not see through them. But they do have a little bit more of a blue lens, which is also not filming super well because I have this really bright light really close to me. I might try to go over them with a matte spray paint, and if that doesn't work, these will probably be trashed. So, trial and error. That's where a lot of my funding unfortunately goes. Also, the shoes. So, the shoes are still, a little wet. A lot of wet. I got them sitting up. So they have been cut out and they've been paper mache'd over, and it feels like the outside is actually dry, so the wet is just what they're sitting in. Wet glue paper mache. But it smoothed out the texture, got rid of the holes. I'm going to start spraying over this with a clear, like I'm going to paint it and then I'm going to clear gloss it. And I'm going to clear gloss it like a couple of times just to make sure that I have a nice, really steady, stable structure, because I don't want any like this bubbly stuff I don't want in there. Like I said, balling on a budget, so this is how we do it budget style. And then the other shoe is over here, in case you wanna. Woo! Looks like the first one. I did end up filling those holes, those gaps, with just with newspaper and then sheening over it, and it worked quite well. So I'm happy with that. This week has been a lot of research. We went to go see the new Del Toro movie, Shape of Water. I think it's important for me to not only study the movie that I'm working on, but study the style of the director, because he does have a fairly distinct style that he uses in a lot of his films. And specifically with color and lighting, he does a lot of really cool, interesting stuff. I've also been watching, YouTube is a great tool. Like, if you don't utilize YouTube, I say on my YouTube channel, if you don't utilize YouTube, you are not. Stimpy, stop itching. Hey, come here. I have a tiny dog that'll itch himself raw. He's terribly distracted. Come here. Say hi. Come here. Oh, my trouble baby. Ah! So, we went in and kind of checked out some of that film. I watched some student reviews, student thesis, student theory papers, but they were in video form, and I've been listening to those as I've been working on stuff, whether it be this project or finishing up some other client work, some other commission work for other projects. I've been listening to Del Toro talk about his movies and his life and his inspiration via YouTube, and tons of interviews on there. Super interesting man, if you haven't had the time to kind of look through some of his stuff. I also watched some interviews with Doug Jones, and him playing all these different creature roles, including the fawn and the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth. And I'm going to pass those along to my actress Amber Lee so that she can kind of take a look at the inspiration behind that as well. I've watched some brief clips of the making of the fawn for Pan's Labyrinth, and I find those inspiring, but they are completely out of my budget. I do not have the means to put the animatronic makes underneath like they do in the film. So I've been looking at some cosplayers and what they're doing, and I'm feeling like they don't quite fit what I want either, which I think is part of the reason I picked this. I think I picked this project because I didn't feel like there was a cosplayer out there that did it the way I would have. Not that there's cosplayers out there that haven't done amazing things, because there are. There's so many cosplayers that have tackled this and absolutely done a beautiful job. Just nobody's done it quite the way I would do it. So I wanted to tackle it to do something amazing and do something my way. I've got a group together this week that on Facebook, just made a Facebook group page to kind of get all my actors on the same page, trying to kind of get ideas from sponsors and the like as well. So that's in the works. And that's about it. That's about it for today. I'm hoping the bodysuit comes soon so I can start piecing that together and get it on the duct tape cast of Amber Lee, and start working on building that up and getting the bark and things put on it. And I definitely need to start working on her face cast soon too. So all of those things are in the works. I'm pretty excited about a lot of them, and I'm gonna let you go because this little guy's getting antsy. That makes me think he needs to go OUTSIDE. But if you say it, he'll like freak out and we'll lose frame, and it'll be not such a cute way to end this log. So, can you say bye? Say bye. Goodbye, goodbye, Facebook. Goodbye, YouTube. Have a nice night.